Okay. Good evening, Sensei.
Hey, I'm on. Okay, good evening, everybody. Okay. We're going to continue on from last week. Use some different words. Hope it gets across. So we have an energy source, starting with the physical, and natural to start here, being in the physical realm, in the physical body, that we're using the word core. And core is the first earlier sense of energy radiating, okay? So the Pilates people, the yoga people, the bodybuilders, they're all catching on to core, and they get a bit of a physical plexus core, which reps for an energy location, and they're getting a lot of benefit out of that, okay? To continue past that level, we could use some of the Chinese terminology, the Tai Chi with their center core energy radiating. At a certain level, they get freer, better moving hands as they continue to settle open, my words, settle open and get into the next level of it or dimension of it. With that energy radiating, their arms and stuff are still active and good. And then the legs come in and they're starting to be free and active and good. They continue on with a better core, more energy radiating, and the more fuller of the body is involved, okay? And it goes on and on and on, all right? The tendency with the humans will be when they start to get past the, what do we call it, outline of the physical body, and it starts to get finer and finer, and they don't have a sense of the outline of the body, okay? But there's still a body there. At first, we could call the first level an energy body, okay? As we continue finer and finer, different words come up. Help me, I forget the words. Bob, quick. Causal body.
Chakra body.
Chakra body. It's okay. Yeah, I don't like that one for now. Causal body.
That would be a big one.
You're looking at astral?
Causal body.
Astral body.
No, see, astral body for me is when you're dead and you still continue, there's still a body, but when you're dead, it's an astral body. So I don't know if I can use an astral body here because I'm not dead.
Okay.
Okay.
Aura.
Anyway, whatever. There are different words, different yoga groups, Chinese groups, whoever have different words for the continuation of body. Okay. All of those levels, I think we tried to depict it here. So let's say this is the body and maybe the body energy level. Move on, and then we get a finer level. Move on dimensionally, and we get a finer level. And they're named different, okay? But there's still a body. There's still here. It's not, a causal body. Let me drift up and float around, mentally doing something with the causal body. It's here, 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 here. Or as OSensei would say, don't go anywhere. It's all here. But it's an inner, finer level. And it goes the distance. Okay? We're getting close to it when a different diagram I used some time back. Thinking, fine. We think, get the layout. Then we begin to feel our practice. And the first feeling is kind of heavy. If I'm playing with energy and I'm heavy, I don't really feel the energy, not very well. Easy, settle, open, finer feeling. Now I begin to feel a little bit of more warmth, a kind of a little flow there. Okay. Easy, settle, open, moving into a little better dimension. Finer feeling. Okay. So thinking, feeling, finer feeling, and sense feeling. Now we're getting much finer. Sense feeling. Okay. And then after a bit, experiential sensing. Sensing. But there's an experience in that sensing. Is that so that pattern okay? Kind of old stuff, just reminding you and kind of reviewing. Are we okay so far? That was a question.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the character goes dimensionally. We've tried to, Brad, we've tried to show this, just a reminder for those that are Aikido types. Simple basics. Let's see. Okay. Easy and so first it's physical to physical. Easy, settle, open. And I might move it on a little faster. And there's a body, physical body, that has some bit of energy flowing around. And a bit of energy. There's a bit of energy. Okay. Easy, settle, open. Fuller. And I'll say it, I don't think I'm at that level at the moment, but and soon there'll be an energy body here. Easy. Energy body. Okay. Yeah, so just a quick reminder of our earlier Aikido, sort of kindergarten introduction to this world. We could have used that. Or we could have used go. I do this technique. Easy, settle, open. There's no more energy. Easy, settle, open. Easy, settle, open. There's more energy. Okay. Anyway, simple reminder, basics. So if you're going to major, remember we have 4 big pieces of creation, the space of it, character is ongoing. It doesn't stop at the edge of the body, finer and finer, and the different words that different groups would use for that causal body. Whoa. But it's still a body, character. Okay. Who has access to more energy. Okay. Easy. If I'm kind of in a smaller level, and I don't have the energy. It's even hard to think about doing something if I really get squashed in. Can't do it. No way. Easy, settle, open. Oh, can begin to put a cap on it. I sense touch it, inner sense touch it, and it begins to show it's there. And I touch it again. And it's there. And then I begin to do techniques, okay, or whatever. So, dimensional energy. The energies are there. It's a matter of us opening to them, knowing which piece we're using the body to get to more energy, using the body, and then that inner sensing, whatever the finer bodies are, of tapping more energy. Okay? The self, we've played a little bit with self. Now, self is a different piece, and self has its energy. Okay. Finer level of self has more energy. Space itself is not empty. In a certain way, it has energy. Okay. And the designer construct of creation is also energy. Okay. Now, the differences, I use the word flavor. They may flavor a bit different. The energy of the self may have a little different flavor than the energies that a character would be picking up on. Okay, and on and on. All right, so they all have access to energy. All right. Let me say this dumb example. Bear with me. On the table, bread dough, okay, and it's all laid out flat, white bread dough. You take a cookie cutter like a star shaped, boom. That cookie cutter has access to that dough, which is all energy, but it has a different little shaping or something, so it looks different. Christmas time, so you have another cookie cutter that looks like Santa Claus. Okay. You like animals? And Amy would have a bird. She's into birds. Okay. Anyway, so these different designs of creation, the construct design, the self, the character, who'd I miss? Self, character, the space of it. They all are in this creation of energy. So it doesn't matter which approach you take. All of them have energy. And as you settle and open on that line you're on, there's more available and more available. I said a lot. Did I say it right? Did I confuse you all? Feel free to talk to me.
So Sensei, this is Lauren.
Yes, sir.
And I hear you saying, the major four, but you're saying tonight that it since they're all energy or energetic, they all run on the same energy.
Wait, let me jump and see if this takes care of it. There's an original all energy. Okay, and now the creation starts. So they're all related or have access to or made up of this energy. Does that help any? Or is that the issue?
Yes, and so they're all made of the same fundamental energy, even though they might have qualities and
the original,
the original.
As it comes down tighter, then it will break up. This great mass of water, let's call it now, will break up into big rivers and then break up into tributaries and break up into creeks. And they're all energy, but they're less and less and less. Right?
I also hear you saying that some people might be drawn to develop their character, and some people might really, resonate with space, and so they should follow that.
Yeah. Your call.
Because it all leads to the same place in a way.
Eventually. Yeah. Steve, LA, I was talking to you on the phone, and you were majoring a couple of weeks ago in space. Okay. Right? That's what you said to me?
Yes.
Okay. And then suddenly the other day, you're doing space, and suddenly character was there wanting to work character. Is that what you told me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I had no intention of that. It just seemed to want to go there.
Character took central stage, could we say?
Yes.
Okay. So your ability when you're doing any of this work is knowing when there's something changing and not letting that throw you or confuse you, or what's our schmear word? Smudge. Getting smudged by that. Okay. That there's space. Oh, it's changing. What's going on? Oh, character seems to want to have full stage, the full platform here. So that's a possibility that, things will change along the way. Did I say that right?
Yeah, like for instance, today, I thought character was now going to get center stage again, and self decided that it was wanting a turn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just being receptive to what is wanting to show.
Yeah. As you play with these things and get a little clearer, you get receptive to, I'm trying to do this piece, what you're doing, self.
Today,
I'm trying to do this piece, and you're struggling because it's not its turn. One of the other pieces is preempting and saying, no, it's my turn. So to recognize that and be okay with that. Yeah, that drove me crazy for a couple of times because I would have my idea what I want to work on in that morning's practice. And damn, I'd work and it wasn't working. And I realized eventually, it took me like 45 minutes a couple of times, I learned a lot, that it wasn't a turn for that one. And me forcing it wasn't making it any easier. So I sort of start now with more, hello, I'm going to settle and open, okay, more space, but what wants to show? And it could be the space wants to show more about the space, or the character wants to come in, or the self wants to come in, or the design creation thing wants to come in. So a little more open now than I might have been in previous years. Okay. And I recognize the pieces, so it's easier not to get confused as you hang out with anyone, whatever, take turns, you get a sense of them. You don't confuse your wife with the my male person is a lady. I don't confuse my male lady person with my wife. They have a different sense. What word did I use? Text here now. Flavor. Their flavor is different. Okay, you begin to recognize, oh, that's a male lady. Oh, that's my wife. Dumb, huh? Are you getting any of this? Anyway, so I'm just saying also things will get clearer as you play and hang out, especially with this sense of experiencing that, not just being aware, but the sense of experiencing. They're all feeling themselves, feeling their own energy, for lack of a word. We call it experience. Okay. Thinking won't quite do it. Heavy feeling, not really. Finer feeling, a touch. Finer heading towards sensing, sense feeling. I begin to really start to have that experience and continue even finer with sensing. Okay. We use an up-down thing like awareness, thinking is up here, and this energy experiential is more down here, is how we present it. Okay. Yeah, so I kind of cut it in half that way. Okay. There's a tendency in the human condition to have majored in the awareness, knowing about, thinking about. No problem, but it has a partner, if you would, which is the more under experiential. Okay. And watch out, the awareness part will, I don't know what to say, get close, or having enough awareness calls up a little energy, and you pick that up and you think, I'm experiencing, not to the depth and the fullness of a full experience. Oliver, you're giving me that look. Say something semi-intelligent. Put your damn earplugs in. Come on, you can do it.
He seems to be having internet problems, Sensei.
It seems like he's in Thailand right now, so.
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, and actually, we're getting video problems. So Oliver, please turn off your video.
Yeah, that's a wonderful video shot.
Okay,
Wonderful
so
video
we can
shot.
hear you fine.
Great. It's the Wi-Fi here, and I'm outside. It's a little noisy this morning for some reason. Saturday morning, everyone goes crazy. Yeah, I'm in Thailand, and I mean, during the pandemic, I hadn't trained very much, if at all, until December. So in terms of Aikido practice, I've been a bit out of the loop, but then I train here when I'm here. So I went to my first class at the university here on Wednesday evening. And I just in terms of when things show themselves, I just found, I've had it quite a few times this week in a few different ways, things reminding me of pieces. So when I was, for example, when I was training on the Wednesday night, quite a lot of the Thai women here, there's quite a few really good students, but they're very short and quite sturdy and strong, but a really low physical center. And but there's more there. And I was training with two different students, and I just felt this, they got a lot of ground, you know. And the teacher was doing all kinds of different variations and techniques. It was way too much. It was spinning out everywhere, but they kept this ground. It didn't matter what was going on. They had this ground. And so the next morning I was in my, I went for a sauna steam, and I was sort of sat in there, and I had this real call for downtime. It was really, I hadn't had one for a little while, but it was really a strong downtime feeling. And it was exactly that, down in the ground opening and feeling, and becoming an energy source, the ground becoming a real energy source, and feeling the juice flow up through my feet as I was sat relaxing. And it's just something about that, like the world can remind you of something, and then it comes and it shows in your process, or calls you to the process. Yeah.
You said a good thing when you said during that week, more than a few things happened that were related to the same thing, right?
Exactly.
Saw or read or whatever. When you get hit by 3 or more things a week, I tend to pay attention. Okay.
Exactly.
Sometimes me personally, I don't listen, and even the world will boom. Somebody will say something, and then a couple of days later, a different person will say virtually the same thing.
Yeah.
Another person, boom.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So whether they're touching you internally, or something you keep sensing, or something that comes at you, the other person talking to you, pay heed is what I would say to everybody. Okay. It's not a coincidence. Oh, what a coincidence. Yeah, but it's based on something. Hopefully, yeah, in your case.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it's a feeling, but it just makes total sense. I mean, I've just moved country in a 7-hour time difference, and I need to settle down here in a new home and a new everything. It just makes sense that I need to settle and find a new ground. Like, and I felt that sense of opening coming from it. So the ground was there, and then I could open more. And it's a different level. I'm able to feel more grounded and open here for some reason. I don't know why. I just feel very at home here. So it's really an interesting mix where these things are all coming in to give me a more ground, more sense of being here, more feeling.
Aren't some cultures, so you're noticing the people there seem to be more grounded.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
More sensitive, more open.
Lauren, especially the farmer types in Japan, even in, well, you were there in the
Yes.
80s, but they were still heavily grounded.
Yeah.
Very much
They
so.
were in Tokyo bringing their fruit and vegetables in on their back or something. Those old ladies, remember those old ladies?
Yep.
But they had some ground and support, and they'd carry some damn heavy stuff. They were more grounded. And I don't know, yeah, and I think some cultures are just naturally more grounded. I think, for example, our culture, a lot of thinking and mind going on, and that screen you guys look at day after day. I think you've lost a little bit of that potentially, you know, unless you're actually training and settling and feeling and whatever. The little tendency here to be drawn out into that stuff and forget this stuff. Some cultures are still closer to it, even though they're being drug out too, of course. But they're essentially, yes. Yes. Yeah.
Well, we can actually see you quite clearly now, Oliver. So where are you exactly?
I'm in Chiang Mai in North Thailand. So I used to live out here about 15 years ago. So I came back. I studied massage here for several months, and my teacher, he's getting on. So I wanted to come and see him. So I'm also receiving quite a few Thai massage treatments, which is all on the ground and very kind of earthy and slow and a lot of feeling contact, but very subtle as well. So it's all kind of drawing me back down, really. It's really nice feeling at the moment.
Thank you very much for
And
sharing.
his experience was kind of basic, a feeling of being drawn down, potentially downtime, moving into a deeper, also always add, as you go deeper, finer dimension. And he felt that draw down. It said something about its energy. I forget how he worded it, but it's energy. And he felt that energy moving something vibratory through the body. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect example. Very simple. Oh yeah, wow. That's sort of how it works. Settle down, open, settle down a bit deeper, inferring finer dimension. And because there's more energy, and because the energy started to show through the body, we could say, oh, right at that moment, he was on a character body, took the main stage and was feeling the energy. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Where was I going before? Anybody, anything? So far, so good. Anything? In case we got lost, anything along the way?
I wonder, Sensei, if you can bring us to fire in the belly.
That's the energy. It's just a term. It's like core, fire in the belly. It refers to the energies that's available on any, it's not lineage, but any form that you approach on, character form, space form, self style, that as you settle and open, each one of those has access to more energy that is there. It's there. Okay. So here, try to say, okay, this is the dimensional of body, energy body, finer causal body, whatever names they use. And they all have an energy that's, it's not an idea of it. It's an actual energy presence. Energy presence. Okay. Then if we shift to the self, okay, easy the eye, more room. There's a self here, self. And when you get clear, we spent some time on self, but again, when you get clear on that self is experiencing itself. Again, can't do it with the idea. You can set it up with the idea. Cool. Feeling, feeling is a little heavy to pick up self. Finer feeling, still a little heavy. It might, but when you start heading into sensing territory, then self should make itself known. Okay, and I'm just reminding you that self has its own energy. Did I say that okay? So we started with the word fire in the belly. We could have started with the word core. We could have started with he's got guts. Why do some people have guts and others don't? We could have started with any of those heavy ass words because they're all symbolically talking about this. Okay. Is that all right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And I myself, and I think for everyone, unless you're a student of or a major in, or are you going to stop at that level and teach that level or just work that level? That you hang out at a certain level for a certain period of time. Not talking years there. In some cases, it could be some minutes or moments, and that you move on to the next finer. So my thing is to go finer and finer and finer, heading towards more original. Who am I really? And before all of that, who am I? I'm trying to head back into the original. Okay. So again, nothing wrong for some people to stop at it. Well, okay, core. Start at core. Now, somebody may want to major in why core helps people be better athletes. And they could major because that's their job or their level. That's okay, but I don't think for you and me, unless core is your major, you're supposed to teach it or whatever. Let's move on. Who am I really? I'm not adequate. Well, wait a minute. Is there anything I can do with this process that we're playing with to be more adequate in whatever? Music, family relations, fighting. I don't give a shit. Whatever. Okay. Whatever. Okay. Anybody? Something? Need a moment's break? Say something intelligent. Ask a dumb question. I don't care. Do something. And again, zilch, nada.
Sensei, this is Liam.
Liam.
I'm usually kind of hanging in the background, but just from what you're saying, getting to that question of what is this really? What is self really? I get an impression of the more I tune into the energies of the character and feeling how the makeup of the character is working,
mm-hmm.
It has its own intelligence and creative energies.
Yes.
And it's a different, the limiting factor feels like when I get mixed up with the flavor of self to the flavor of energies to character.
Yeah. That's, you're not the only one. There's such buddies, could we say. In fact, that's what I've done here. See, this is character, this is self. And I'm going to say, by the way, soon that let's look at them overlaid. They're not separate like that. They're overlaid. And because of such close buddies, okay, it's easy, especially at first, to be confused between self and character. Okay. As you fun around more and experience, let's say, the character more, then shift with a sense that, okay, character is off the stage of space, let's say, and here comes self. And hopefully then self comes out and you settle and experience what self is experiencing. And it gets more and more distinct because the flavor is a bit different. Yeah. So that comment is like not unexpected because of that closeness they have. Everything's overlaid, but they're really buddies.
Yeah. And that the supportness of how the space there and what you were saying, I think, is real key to knowing that the self has it's a different flavor. And if you get that mixed up, you get something kind of gross and feeling kind of mixed up because it's like the flavors are blending in a way that they're not meant to.
Yeah, we call it not smearing, smudging. We call it smudging. Yeah. And I can see where a lot of people could get confused if they got a couple of things going on and they're smudging them. So that's why we tried to clarify that and brought up the word smudge and what we're trying to do now. That maybe Steve, LA Steve, if we're talking about this confusion between character and self? I think you played in that region.
Mhm.
How do you determine how do you experience the difference between the developing character run, and if it were to change, or you were to change it to now time for self? How do you distinguish them?
Oh. It was real easy today. I'm trying to think of what it was that made it so obvious.
That's what we're asking.
Yes. You know, character is in a way, maybe part of it has to do with the fact they have much more experience with character than with self, but it's also character seems to have more of a specific definition in the sense that you know, different characters are going to have different roles, different garments that they're wearing.
Yeah. I'm a
self
woodcutter. Let me take a shower, and I'm a go-to-partier. I'm a dancer. Now let me that continue with that.
Yeah, and self, I mean, it's not that it isn't a thing, but it doesn't have that same kind of definition.
I've got to go cut wood personally, per se.
Yeah.
Sorry, people. Yeah. Anyway, as you fun around with these, whenever they show how and hang out, especially with the more experiential part, kind of phrasing I use, don't know if it's great, but feeling what they feel, experiencing what it is feeling. It's kind of my words. I don't know if they're great words for you. But then they get very distinct. So it's easier to spot a change, or who on central stage that day, that period of time you're playing with this. Yeah. So hang out and practice, you know. See, sometimes you want answers, people in general, not necessarily talking to you guys, but people in general. They just want, well, tell me how it works. Tell me how I should know which is different. It's like, screw you. You sit, you settle, you feel, you experience. No, tell me. Screw you again. I ain't going to do that. Not really. Anyway. So, if as this guy, person, character, settles and opens, naturally moves into finer dimensions. Finer dimensions have more energy. So even at first, a couple of simple stages, and I demonstrated the grammar school level, whatever, with the Aikido energy flow. It's not that far away. Easy, settle. Not quite there yet. Easy, settle. Oh, they're starting to float a little bit. There was less effort to lift them, and there was a little bit of lift up. Whoa. Okay. I also noticed they seem to work well together. They seem to be, I don't know, would have a nice dancer's flavor, an on-stage flavor, whatever that is. Easy, settle, open. Next level has more energy. The energy through the system, energy that's present. Oh, now, it felt like the upflow came from the floor level, maybe below the floor, but right now, floor level, and it moved from floor level and is moving it up. The first one, where it felt like it was being moved up, just felt like around here. That one felt like that level comes from deeper, and it moved up. No big deal, but it tells me I'm moving along, and it also clues me in that, oh, it's deeper. The energy source is deeper. Oh, okay. And on and on and on. I forget where I was going with that. Self, again, we play with self a bit. Easy the eye. Self. As you get past thinking and heavy feeling, finer, and start to get into sensing, self should make itself known again. Okay. Self, for lack of words, trading itself in for the next level. So deeper, in more space, self is itself, experiencing itself. Self, self, self. Okay, I'm hearing, and not in my ear, just someplace hearing. I've been around like a long time. I'm not a newbie here. Okay. So it's the beginning of saying how ancient or how early in the game of creation it was. Okay. Bobby is fairly new here or whatever. He's got 80 years in and fading fast. Okay. But the self seems to be inferring, I'm a long-termer. Bobby's come and go, and here I am is eventually kind of sense I've historically got. When I first bumped into self in that sense, one way it delineated itself, explained itself, was that sense of Bobby's come and go, I exist. Okay, I'm before Bobby and I'll be here after Bobby. Okay, when I really got a good sense of that self and was feeling what it was feeling or having an experience as self, a lot of my attitude changed about getting killed or something. It was like, I remember an almost bad car accident almost. And I thought it was quite humorous because I was had such a strong feeling at that particular time of self was there. Bobby's come and go. If he gets wiped out, I'm still me, self. So I found that whole potential accident, and it was a bad potential, to be quite humorous. If I didn't have self, I'd panic. Oh my God, Bobby's going to go, and there's only Bobby. There's nobody else but Bobby. But having self there and having an experience, lack of words now, experience with self as self, whatever, however to say that, it was a whole different flavor. Okay. Not that if you tell me I'm going to die tomorrow, Bobby won't go, oh shit, and quiver a bit. Yeah, that's human reaction. But it doesn't take away from the fact that after Bobby, there'll be a self. Okay. And the Bobby character will then move into his more appropriate level. Now we're going to get astral being there or whatever. But I'm still following the Bobby Nadeau line. I'm getting off on other stuff right now. So anyway, now, in terms of energy, why I did this way, I wish I could have done them overlaid, but I don't have the ability of doing that, the equipment to do that right. The character, finer and finer dimension, has energy. Okay, we demonstrated the first kindergarten level of energy flows through that level. Easy. Then there's an energy body, a great Tai Chi master, all energy, whatever. And we continue, trade that in, and finer and finer and finer and finer. Character being open to and present with the more energy that's available, that's just there in his system. Could I say system? Okay. Now, I'd like to overlay that with the self. How to say this right? The self in more room, let's start it that way. Or even let's start easy the eye. Easy the eye. The I is neither self nor character. It's some, not the right word, aberration. When things got tight, the self and the character, suddenly an I came up out of that. I. It's not, could I say, an original creation? Easy the I, and the self will show it's there. The character and his her development through dimensions will show it's there. So the eye can screw this up a bit. So easy the eye, in retrospect, it's a beautiful statement. I'm so happy I presented that early in the game. Easy the eye. Okay, easy. Now we know more about space. Easy the eye, in more space. Okay, there is an alive, because there's all this energy at the level the character is at. Character has a lot of energy, outflow, radiation, choose your own words. And now I'm adding, and also there is a self underlying that, could I say? There's a self right here, underlying that, and self has its own juiciness, radiation, glow, find your own words. Okay, and when self is better aligned with the character, I wonder if that almost doesn't, I'm going to double up, but the energy of self and right in alignment with it, the energies of character. So when self's energies lines up to character's energy, I'm using that there's even an extra kick there. Okay, it's some kind of double mint gum thing, double your pleasure, double your oomph. So I'm working on that this week. I'll have a better sense of it next week, but that overlay thing. So in more space, easy the eye, in more space, character with its radiating energy and easy shifting. In that space, same size space we infer, he's in that space, self, and self has its own glow, its inner that radiates. Okay. And to position those two better with each other. Are you following me so far? I didn't lose you on that, did I? I'm going to add to it in a minute, but I want to make sure we're okay. Sort of.
Sensei, I think it was really clear. And I just want to say that it's my experience professionally that when people find the right job for them, right, what are they going to do in their work? It's when you find a job that suits you.
Yes, I was going to say that. Suits you, yes.
Right. Then you thrive.
Yeah.
And when you take a job that doesn't suit you, it's horrible. I've done both. And, you know, so direct experience. It when they align, it's a really enormous energy. Work no longer seems like work. You want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Where this came up strongly. Susan, are you on tonight?
She is.
Yes,
Susan?
Sensei.
Okay, be prepared to jump in here. Some of the work I do with Susan in the healing field, in getting to the finer of beings, people, and their selves to see why they're hurt or why they can't get better or what the hell is ailing them. Susan gets a lot of cases of where the doctor can't quite make out what's going on because she's got a good read. It goes through dimensionally, gets a good read. One thing we notice in I don't know how to use the words. We haven't developed a proper language in this field here. In looking through them or passing through them, through the physical body to finer energy body of them. And then we started to catch, of course, the importance of self present. And what we saw was a lot of selves not being in alignment with the body. We have a lot of hovers, okay? We have a lot of selves that are so about the human world that they're really further back and hiding out in a cave off to the side. and they're not helping because they stretch this line, this like umbilical cord type thing. They stretch it out so far that the person character is not being aided by the energy, the self, if it would position better, position with the character. That if the self with its juiciness would position better with the character, its radiation would remind, support the energy of the character. So we get a double flow there. I hope I said that right. Danny, I was trying to impress you with that when you were doing your cancer stuff. Danny, you on?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And I was actually thinking about that as you're speaking.
Yeah.
And
yeah, then we have a hell of a lot of resources with this inner energy, not just this body character, but use that one because he goes finer and finer and finer, more and more and more, but also getting the self there. So the self facilitates, supports, adds to this. Okay, kind of thing. So that's what I was trying to say. I hope I said it a little better, clearer tonight, but that's what I've been trying to say in some of our dialogues. Yeah. Yeah, Danny.
Yeah. Yes. And I think I'm sure that what I managed to access and from your prompting was the self that could direct my healing as opposed to a doctor or someone prescribing something. And that was a daily, it almost became like a prayer and an interaction with this thing, that lay within me. And that was a huge possibility. And I wasn't given a lot of possibility, believe me. You're going to die, we might cut your leg off here.
All that good shit, right?
They gave me a chance. It was to change deep within me so that I could recognize, so that the cancer could be recognized and put to death, basically. And it seems that that's what's happened.
Yeah.
I'm eternally grateful for that coaching. Believe me.
Yeah, and there's so much possibilities. I mean, just this creation we're in, as we learn how it works and how to work with it, in it, and develop in it. Oh my God, the possibilities. It's not just martial arts a la OSensei, it's not just healing people kind of thing. It's endless possibilities. And mankind as a group, we're not anywhere near there, but there it is. We'll see. We'll see in the future. What's the future? I don't know. Another couple 100 years, 1,000, I don't know. We'll see. But let's do what we can do today. Okay. Anyway, Susan,
Thank you, Danny.
anything to add to what me and Danny were mucking about in? What?
I'm going to say that what Lauren said about, when you're in the right job, and that's where character and self are aligned or overlaid properly.
Good. Right there. Could we say that self likes that you're doing that job because self has an idea or a sense of what you should be doing in this life? And when you hit the right job for that time, that the self is happy.
Yes.
Because its character is going right according to the plan of self. The words. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And if it's right, you often feel, as Lauren was saying, some kind of click, I'm home in this job, or whoa, did I luck into this? Beautiful. I lucked into this kind of thing. Yeah.
So I've jumped back in, Sensei, since I started this thread. I know somebody who is naturally curious, always asking people, very good people skills, can't help themselves, and they became a journalist where their natural tendencies were exact fit for what that sort of profession required. And then that same person tried to become a commercial real estate broker, where she had to keep everything close to her, to their vest. And it was so difficult. It just didn't flow from them. And so it's really, I'm sure that, you know, Bob Noah and many others have this same experience, where sometimes who you are is just the character that's needed in that job. You know, a natural salesperson, or, you know, somebody that is really good at problem solving, whatever it is. Ideally, hopefully, they luck out and find their fit. And they don't have to do anything when that happens. It's, you know.
I have a quick story, Lauren. Let me jump
Please.
in.
Thank you, Sensei.
Back many years in my psychic time, this lady I knew, we belonged to the same dog club, and she knew I was a sensitive, and she said, you know, my son is having problems getting the right job. I said, oh, let me check. And I checked, and I came back to her. I said, sales. She said, oh, it can't be sales. He's had, I don't know, 23 selling jobs. I was an enormous amount of jobs. It wasn't 3, it was like 23 or something. And they don't work out. I said, whoa, well, then he even tried 23 selling jobs. So I went back home again. What's going on here? And my feeling was, it's not the sales. It was probably the product. He hadn't found the product that he could sell and feel comfortable selling, was probably his problem. I probably said that to her. I don't remember now. It's been a long time ago. But yeah. So
Sometimes people find a cause or a product or whatever, but when you find it, grab hold.
And if you get little tricks of the trade, people, and if you get bored with that job, okay, let's see, you're thinking about quitting. Okay, we don't know if you ought to quit the job. Okay, I think you don't know and I don't know. Okay, what I'd like to have people do there is, in the job they're in, move that situation, trade it in for a finer dimension of that situation, which includes them in the situation. And in that finer dimension, flavor it out. If they can, if they have a sense of being able to do it easier, doing it better, seeing things clearer than they've seen before. Okay. And if not, then we could say, oh, it's not your job. Look for something different. Oh, did I say that? Oh, okay, it's a little cute trick.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes a job is just right for you at one place in your life, and then you move on.
Yeah.
You literally trade it in for the next thing.
Or one of my buddies on the police force left the department he was on fairly young. So I don't know the story, but let's say he wasn't happy there, but he moved to the country and got on the country sheriff's department or something, and he was very happy. So yeah, whatever. Yes, you got the flavor, people. Yeah. Okay, so what do you think about the possibility of the energies present with self and the finer level of self? What word do we use? Manifesting, glowing, radiating, whatever. And because you've also practiced a bit of making sure the self is lined up with the character. Okay, not just an idea about that, but an actual here self, here body, here this amount of space. It's all going on here. It's inner, finer, but it's here. Okay. And you got any sense of that potential double bang? I'll research it more next week, but what's your sense of that potential?
Sensei, this is Justin. I'd like to say,
Oh, hang on. I'm up.
Yep.
Hang on.
yeah, sure.
You do this, do you have this effect on everyone, Justin? This is how you deal with your
Mercury was in
patients?
retrograde, and I'm
Okay.
going to defer to Mercury.
Okay. My heater came on. It makes a lot of noise over here. So turned it off.
So I'd like to say that as self is overlaid and aligned better with the character, there's a fuller sense of presence radiating through the character, and the ability to stay open to how self might guide the obviousness of what's coming up along the course of your journey as a character in the world or being in the world. Next steps along the course of your mission might be more obvious, because self can guide or motivate you through your character, so to speak.
Has that capability. Yeah. It's not that selves are some kind of, for everybody, some kind of great, fantastic, godlike level. There's some selves that are, I don't know, they call them newbies. They don't have a lot of experience. They haven't been around long or something. And they can develop, because originally there was an original self, so they can develop back to that. But at the level they're at, I don't know anything. But as we let ourselves develop, it should get pretty fancy, or you wouldn't be on this program watching this nonsense for a couple of years. Jesus. Anyway. Again, are we okay with that sense of alignment? I think we talked about it, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. And I asked, and some of you were playing with it and notice yourself was off to the side. I think Danny said that. Danny off to the side self. Somebody else noticed a hovering. I brought up a couple of cases way back when I had a real sick kid, and I tried to call his self in to help the kid, to back him up, so to speak. And the self said, no way, it was way up in some like astroplane already, like wherever it was very high. And he essentially said, hell no, I ain't coming in. I think I was trying to get him to take ownership of a totally wrecked car. I think there's probably no hope for this kid. And he wasn't going to, using my phrasing, he wasn't going to retake ownership of this totally wrecked car. And I didn't quite understand how things worked, so we had a bit of an argument. You should, this poor kid's going to die. He basically said, I don't give a shit, screw you too. Okay, so we have all these variations of self. So as you work and allow the self to develop, it can go the distance. Remember, everything can go the distance, okay? And the presence of self as it, I don't want to say develops, becomes more aware and experiential with itself as self. Pretty fancy unit, okay? Don't want to diverge too much. Somebody, where are we?
Sensei Bob here.
Yeah.
A really nice example of the capability you were talking about my Tai Chi teacher, Professor Chen Ching, he had that ability of his self to radiate into characters. So, you know,
How
in a
could you
country,
tell that? Wait. You said it. How could you tell that's what was happening?
well, he was so good at so many different things in ways that seemed inhumanly possible any other way.
Okay, so he had the ability of shifting characters.
Yes, I mean, in a country of 1 billion people, he was the most famous painter, the most famous poet and calligrapher, the most famous Chinese doctor, and one of the most famous Tai Chi masters,
Yeah, it's
all
pretty
at
good.
once.
We call that the Arnold pattern.
Yeah,
Bringing it down to American English. An actor, a politician, and as actor, he could do, you know, humorous roles or bad guy roles, whatever. Okay, and a hell of a good businessman and a top bodybuilder. Those are 4 main pieces, and he hit them. All right. Doesn't mean you have to think much about Arnold, but that ability tells you he knew something. He knew something. He knew a bit of how this pattern worked and was able to work it that way. Yeah. And that's what Bob said about Chen Manching, who is a big name in Chinese Tai Chi, and also a big name, as Bob was saying, in some other fields. Yeah. When somebody can do that, kind of clues you in that they've got something. So they're a great this and a great that and a great that, all totally different things, but they're great at all of them. They know something about how it works. Okay. Yeah. And if for some reason we have to, with this variety of characters that you have to be, even in the human existence, again, sometimes you have to be a worker, a daddy, a lover, a decision maker about whatever, to know when your job, when you're, help me here with the word.
Avocation.
The CEO, big boss, he's pretty good at it. He comes home and he tries to come home as a CEO. The wife doesn't think much about him, but she loves spending his money. The kids think he's a bit of an ass, but they'll wait till he dies and inherit his money. He hasn't changed identities, could we say. When he comes home, he ought to be the home person, the daddy, the husband, or whatever. Okay. So our ability, and this is a fun practice for humans in daily life. You know, we show you dumb little things to remind you. I'm walking. I reach the bottom of the stairs. I take a moment. Easy. I'm now going to become a stair climber. Bing. In my younger years, I bing, 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 bing up those stairs. Because I was a stair climber. I just have fun hopping up those steps. I look good. So those little practices are cool, because when you get into bigger time or finer levels of things, it'll be very similar practices. So any tricks, patterns like that you play with and experience will hold you in good stead as you continue the journey. Okay? Yeah. I'm pooping out. Something? Did we cover anything today? Yeah, I think so. Dimensional, more energy is available. It's just there. Okay. It's, I don't know. I'm kind of harsh. I thought stupidity that keeps us from accessing. It's our hanging on to maybe a little bit of twisted ideas or ideas that don't fit now. Now you're moving into this level. Easy. Let go of those Bobby's ideas to be a Robert. Robert's got to let go of Robert's view and sense of things to become a Nadeau. He has to let go to become sensei, and on and on and on and on. But some people are afraid to let go. Either they're comfortable at that level, they're a very famous robber, or they're good at what they do is robber, and you say, let go, there's more. They're afraid to let go for one reason, because if I let go, maybe I won't be this good guy that I am. And they're afraid to let go to see if there's more. Okay. So that could create a trick. Practice this in that sense with things that aren't that important to you a certain way, whereas things like that are important to you may be harder to let go of them, to see what's next, to hang out with that seemingly empty, nothing downtime before the next level, boom, shows it's there. And who the character is in that next level, who the self is in that next level, the aliveness of the space in that next level, the clearer sense of the design of creation in that next level, and on and on and on.
Thank you, Sensei.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
That it?
Unless anybody has something else they want to say, jump in.
It's Mike from New Zealand. I was just going to say that your example of the walking and then getting to the steps and taking a moment and then becoming the stair climber is actually the live example that I have at the moment. I have steps between my buildings, and in the past, when the injuries in my knees were more fresher, I guess, it could cause me considerable pain trying to take a step up the staircase. But just recently,
a non-climber trying to climb is hard and often damages himself. Could I say it that way?
Yes.
Trade in for he who climbs, and you give it some moment for the energy to mix properly, and less likely you're going to hurt yourself, and more likely you're going to be able to do it and not look too bad or something. Go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, just recently I've tried lots of different approaches, like, centering and really trying to act as a unit and things. But more recently, I simply said to myself, to my body, you've been walking for, 78 years, and you've been stair climbing for 70 years, and you know how to do it. Mm-hmm. There is no problem. And so simply climb the stairs. And when I can act in that character, then I walk up the stairs and there's no pain.
Suggest and add, give them more room. So the next level, walker to stair climber, has room. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Also, I tend not to tell other pieces what to do. And they, how do you work, or what can you do, or what would be your way of approaching something like that? I sort of open to the intelligence of the next level and let it say. Okay. Early in my meditation years, I don't know if I can remember the exact example right now, but I knew I had my ideas. So when I would first begin to meditate, I was very careful. I come very early that I can't say, I want this to happen and that to happen. I learned to say, show me how you work is probably the phrasing, one example of what I use then. Show me how you work. I know how I would like it to work, but I also kind of recognize that was an I. I know what I would like to have happen. I'll let go of that. You show me how you work. And I felt that honesty, and it's got to be honest. Okay? Don't bullshit yourself here. If you're going to do anything like that, I'm talking to everyone. Don't bullshit yourself. If you're going to be honest. Okay? Be honest. Anyway, are we finished on that, Mike?
Hey,
Yes,
Bob, can I throw in a quick non sequitur here? We got to catch Mike while we can. We need his approval to print his story.
No, Mike's already sent you a message, Richard. I actually have the document open in front of me.
Thank you. Thank you. Forgive me, Bob.
Thank you, Sensei. And
Okay. Thank you, people.
see you at the dojo tomorrow.
Yes, sir, you will.
Thank you, Sensei. Thank you, everyone, and good evening.
Ciao.